to everybody. My name is Dimitri Serafimoff. I'm really sorry not being able to talk to you, to present to you in Italian. Buongiorno a tutti, and unfortunately I have to swap to English, and I will now start to share. The title is War of Duties, Brexit and Pandemic, the resilience of the EU single market and customs affairs. So as already explained, and from the previous speaker, we all facing extreme, special and tough times. We have to face two different types of crises, which of course, and the most important one is the COVID-19 pandemic and also the Brexit. So I believe about the resilience that we are facing a very good test right now, and also within the logistics. The key challenges are the COVID-19 pandemic, as I said, and also the increased protectionism and volatility. I refer here the protectionism when we look at, as in the picture, the relation between, for instance, China and the United States, and also the changes which are coming to us all the time, like last week, or even, yes, last week, the Asian Free Trade Agreement, which has been put in place. So also multilateral trade is in crisis more than ever in our modern history. We have to face a lot of withdrawals, changes of relations between the big economies. Also, digitalization of societies and economies are very, let's say, current now, because it's a challenge and we are forced to do so due to the crises, to improve and to go further and to act very strong, or to concentrate ourselves very strong on the digitalization of our societies and economies. And also very important, it takes already years and years, but there is a change on the sustainability, let's say, way of thinking, but we still have a far and a long way to go. The EU trade policy. So I'm now talking about the part from the EU, a renewed trade policy where we are facing with, as a Clecat, and trying to face with and to follow, is their key objectives is to build a resilient and sustainable EU economy after the corona crisis, or the coronavirus. So as I mentioned, it's the big test. So it's the moment or never. If we miss this one, we will never have learned our lesson. And also to maximize trade opportunities from the EU side's point of view, also especially for SMEs, which represent also a huge part of our economies. Restoring also a level playing field, being resilient, and also being, let's say, a consistent club of 27 member states, means also that we need to have a level playing field, that everything is put in place in the same way, is also, let's say, compliant with each other, because we see too often too many different interpretations on EU, let's say, regulation. Taking the EU customs union to the next level. In September, there was an official announcement which has the following points, bullet points, which are the risk management. The risk management is very important. They are put in place a database. They want to put in place a joint analytics capability databases, between the EC member states, which will improve also to go to the risks. Also managing the e-commerce, which of course has already been mentioned, which is a kind of tsunami, the new way of a new, let's say, dimension of our economy, which came up in the last years with an incredible increase. and due to the corona crisis or COVID crisis, it's even more increasing than before. So they want, the EU wants to manage also the e-commerce, and in fact the regulations are running after the increase and the changes within the e-commerce world. The EU, and that's a good thing for us, for the customs brokers or the freight forwarders, to involve the marketplaces more into the data flow, so that the authorities control more, or having correct data from the source. Also, changes in the VAT will be put in place as from the 1st of July. The VAT platform as from the 1st of July 2021. Also, impact on the e-commerce. That's also for the level playing field, because after so many years they realized that they are missing, the EU and the national member states, a lot of VAT. So there will be also a withdrawal on the exemptions of the exemption of on the low value consignments. So also we try as Clearcuts on this one, we also try to protect ourselves, because we have to prevent or to protect, let's say, our sector for the, how do I call it, the trader interfaces which could be put in place by bypassing some customs brokerage activities. Then on the next one, Clearcuts, the CITI, where we stand for, we are also looking, there are some, it's a non-exhaustive list of the things we are looking at, and trying to solve the problems, the different interpretations within the EU, and also to go back to the Commission. It's about, for instance, the famous, so on the import and export formalities, we had a lot of discussions about the definition, who is the exporter, which changed, but not changed in all the countries at the same time. Also simplification, like centralized clearance, which we're already talking about since years, but which is still not possible. Also single window, and so on and so on. Also, they have 30 plus IT projects we have to deal with, and one of them is, for instance, IS2, which is a huge and a very important one, which will be done in put in place in 3 steps. And also this will be demanding extra data and a new type, not a new type, but changes in declarations. As I mentioned already a little bit in the previous slides, e-commerce. So we have to follow up e-commerce very, let's say, with a priority as well, because e-commerce, it sounds very easy, but from our part, or the side of the barrier, we have to make declarations within the logistics. If you are a freight forwarder or a customs broker, we are facing and taking a lot of risks and responsibilities on our back. So we are trying to look what can be done to prevent such responsibilities on our back, being a customs broker. Also the EU VAT overall. So this means also, I refer already, and I'm sorry for that, to the VAT IOSS, the new VAT platform, which will be in place as it looks now, as from the 1st of July next year. Also the official controls regulations, the SPS controls, they also, in December 2019, they revised the framework for the official controls, which regulates also the control on the plants, on the products of the phytosanitary and veterinary inspections, and also impacting even more for us with Brexit, which will become also for the wooden packaging material an extra concern. Trade-related matters, we are looking where what's happening, and if we see an impact, we also take this with us. And also within the WCO, on behalf of FIATA, we were looking for trade facilitation and harmonization of customs procedures within the WCO. I'm sorry. Then a next point which is also besides the COVID-19, but within the logistics, a very hot topic. We are now, I forgot to count today, at least approximately 47 days from the deadline. What does it mean? It means we all hear a lot of things about Brexit. It's really a mess, and I'm really sorry to pronounce or to use this word, not from our part, but we still have so many loose ends where we are standing for, or we are facing with. So in fact, what we as a community, so Clearcuts members, all the freight forwarders associations and several member states, EC member states, they informed the industry, and it's so tough. We all were shouting in the desert, and we even see now today that companies are just now starting to make their preparations for a Brexit. Deal or no deal, it doesn't matter. Customs formalities are coming back, and this is one of the impacts. Also, customs duties and taxes will come back. The difference with a free trade agreement or no free trade agreement will have an impact on certain flows, of course, but for every single transport, customs formalities will have to be performed on both sides. Non-direct barriers, the HMRC, so the UK customs, they announced already since more than 1.5 years, I believe, that I believe 83% of the commodities will be put on a zero rate import duties at the UK side. Of course, in the opposite way from the UK, but I have to use GB to the EU 27, there we will have to impose the tarifications which are already in place. So this will of course impact for 100% if there is no trade agreement, the most of the products. So Brexit has an impact on all of us, and the preparedness is a joint effort. Our Clearcuts involvement is as follows. So we are active within an EU and UK intermediaries task force, which is a joint task force between the French, it's a private initiative together with customs and the UK or GB customs. HMRC is concerned, the Dutch, the Belgium, and the French customs, because of course they are very impacted with the external borders, and also to deal with the huge volume of trucks or consignments or shipments which goes every day or on a daily basis over and back. Also, we are active. We are following the Commission, the TCG, the Trade Contract Group. We had the opportunity last week again to join them, and we are following what's happening over there. And also we are looking and we are engaged ourselves for our stakeholders and other stakeholders. Now, the challenges of the Brexit. Being a Belgium guy and a Belgium company, of course, historical wise, the UK, it's a neighbor of us. It's historically very deep in our economy, and for the other countries as well. So we are very, let's say, afraid of what the impact will be. The challenges we all facing, and I believe I can speak for the EU 27, the private, the business sector, that we all have to look, and one of the challenges are the brokerage capacity. Since 93, since the 1st of January 93, the internal borders were withdrawn, so didn't exist anymore, and a lot of knowledge, then we come to the next point, customs knowledge disappeared. A lot of companies disappeared, a lot of declarants disappeared, and we now, within 4 years, but with 3-4 delays of the deadlines, nobody believed it anymore. A lot of people were waiting, but you can't learn the job within a few months' time. So also an impact of the Brexit for all of us in our sectors is the financial impact, because they are talking within the UK to have a waiver for comprehensive guarantees and so on and so on. But for us, being AO or not being AO, for all of us, it will have a financial impact. When we will have to make customs clearances, payment of import duties, it will have to go via comprehensive guarantees, which are in a lot of cases are provided and used by the one from the customs brokers or freight forwarders. Also, infrastructure can be a problem. Let's say for the deep sea, I call them deep sea ports, like Livorno, Genoa, like Antwerp, Rotterdam, Barcelona, Le Havre or Marseille. They are already existing ports with infrastructures. But when we see, let's say for the French strait ports, they call the which are using or connecting the channel, or Calais or Dunkirk, even Dunkirk, they don't have any infrastructure and capabilities. So this means that since 25 years, there were no customs formalities. When I'm saying 27 years, no customs formalities anymore. There were not border BCPs, so the border control posts, the veterinary inspection infrastructure, they don't have it. Some of the deep sea ports, they have it, so we have there an advantage towards the French ports when you're looking at the Dutch ports, the Belgian ports, the Spanish ports, the Italian ports. So this is a huge problem, and this is a huge problem for the UK, because on the UK, at the UK side, they have only a few big ports, and all the rest are really short sea, intra-EU related. So they don't have that infrastructure, which is now needed and necessary to comply with all these formalities at the border. And also, of course, we all need software, the customs declarations software. Every EC member state has its own software somewhere provided. Some EC member states used and have the same provider, but it will have a so huge impact on the volume. I don't know the figures anymore by heart, but it will be sometimes when you see the figures and the volumes at the UK side, the software infrastructure from the government has to be able to deal with it, but also from our side, from the business side, we have to deal with much more volumes, and we have to invest also and make sure that the IT infrastructure will be solid enough. Also, these are more maybe details when with so many meetings we were going, because everything was set up, and in the beginning you have to look at on a high level side, but at the end it's on the field, it's the basis who has to deal with it. It's us who has to do the job within the business, within the private sector. So we had so many open questions, and one of the open questions was okay, X works and DDP. Now a lot of business, we are selling, or they are selling Franco Domicile. They are selling products, and the seller is also arranging the transport and the delivery till destination. Now there will be a frontier in between, and this will have a huge impact, because DDP, then as a seller, you will become a UK importing company. So we were looking about the conditions. What do you need to have to act and to be able acting as a UK importing company? Because not everybody on the continent have a stable or permanent establishment in the UK. So this was an open question, because the definition of establishment or being established in or registered in the UK, so we now received it a few weeks ago. So this means what the outcome is, that when you don't have a UK permanent establishment, yes, you will not be able to put a duty deferment account in place. So it will go back on, become, let's say, the problem of the customs brokers, which they will have to offer their financial services using their duty deferment account. Because if you have to deal with thousands of imports, for instance, for UK customers, or which are sold to UK customers, and you sold it on a DDP basis, this means that one customs broker or several customs brokers will have to use their duty deferment account. So it all has a very financial impact. Also, we have to be aware about the fact there are different approaches, procedures within the ports. And when I only take Le Havre, Hamburg range, a lot of different approaches, and if for Spain, about the procedures. There is a difference between accompanied and unaccompanied transports, which is not the same procedure, and some ports are different from the other ones. So it will be very difficult also for everybody of us to know and to make your homework, to know, okay, when I'm using Calais, I have to do it in that way. When I'm using Antwerp, Rotterdam, or Barcelona, or an Italian port, it will be different. The industry will also have to provide different extra data, information, because when you are shipping, on where you are making a booking on using a ferry line or service, you only have to book one unit with a very small data set. Now, not from the first 6 months, but after the 6 months, it will be in place as well for the safety and the security declaration. When you are talking about groupage, consolidation cargo, sometimes 30 consignments are loaded in a full truck. So this means 30 communication lines on top of a usual, normal, easy booking to put in place. Also, performance declarations. This is maybe a general conclusion. It's not only making and performing declarations, because we see that in the industry, a lot of people are thinking, okay, when I have my customs declaration, it's okay with me. That's not the complete scope of challenge. It's the complete scope, all the work which comes together during the transport, which is the huge challenge. So these are a few points I would like to share with you. Of course, I can go on for hours and hours, but let's say that I also want to end with a positive sense that we experience that there is a support from customs. They are doing what they can do. The most customs authorities, they attract extra customs officers. They get extra budget for that, and that we have also a lot of positive talks and communications between the private sector and customs, which is also an opportunity for the future. Thank you for your attention.